are dedicated to those Indian soldiers. Like a 10 minutes ride, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for all of us. People are really very excited. I thought that this will be something which is a very normal routine for Turkish people, but it seems the Turkish people are as excited as I am. Aboard the Turkish flag, we are heading for the famous battlefields of Gallipoli. About the participation of Indian soldiers, nearly 70,000 Indian soldiers did die fighting for the British cause in the First World War. But the British, I don't know, it is race, it's like a racial bias or what, but they never registered the Indian sacrifices which went in ensuring the Allied victory in the First World War. Soldiers of India were not fighting the war because they believed in the cause of the British or the French. They were just fighting because we were promised that we would be make an independent country once the war is over, but that promise was not fulfilled. And I hope we see some symmetry of Indian soldiers because the symmetries of the soldiers from Australia and New Zealand are really well marked. But I hope there's similar markings for the Indian soldiers who were martyred at Gallipoli. So we are going to have a measure of all that in a short while as we are moving on the ferry across the strait, which is like a 10 minutes of ride from here, and we have almost reached there. That's like a very wonderful fortress that speaks of the kind of defense line which the Turkish army had in mind. So the idea behind Gallipoli campaign was to win the Bosphorus Strait, and this was the kind of propaganda which was used by the British to enlist support of the citizens of the colonial empire from New Zealand, from Australia, from India, and also from the areas which were under direct British rule. This is, I guess, a kind of depiction of Turkish soldiers who are preparing or bracing for the Gallipoli invasion. Some are sitting in the pose of worship, namaz, and this is again a cool depiction of how the soldiers were engaged in trench warfare. There's the soldiers who are like drenched in mud, and they are like soldiers in a heated battle against each other in these fields. So these soldiers are like the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, and here the soldiers are from the Anzac or the Allied forces. So this is the famous Anzac Cove. This is where the Australian and the soldiers from New Zealand, they made their first landing attempts across the Dardanelles Straits. Their objective was to to assist the naval operations which were going on against the Ottoman Empire by providing the adequate land thrust in this region. The main intention of this assault was the Bosphorus. Real landing spot was quite far from here, maybe 1 or 2 kilometers away from here, but they overshot it and they landed up here at a wrong place due to some bad military planning or some wrong markings. And then the Turkish soldiers stationed on these cliffs have been now cut out, but this region till here was part of one single of rocky cliffs, and there was a lot of firing around. And then eventually there was a massacre of nearly 4,000 soldiers from both Australia and New Zealand, and they have the most important beach for as far as the military operation is concerned, and it was used as a landing base. It was accidentally actually used as a landing base, and presently it serves as the place for the commemoration ceremony which is organized by the Australian and New Zealand periodically every year around.
Well, in that direction. Allies here were also supported by naval gunfire from distance, but accidentally, we call it friendly fire, they killed their own Indian mule infantry over there. And we are talking about the 600 to 800 men, and the rest of them were just evacuated and were sent back to hospitals. So this is a very big tragedy for the Indian mule infantry by British shellfire, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
So you hear, friends, this is all about the Indian contributions in the Gallipoli campaign. So as explained by our tour guide, these are the graves of the soldiers who had fallen in the Gallipoli campaign, and most of the graves belong to the soldiers from the Australian side. Also there are soldiers from the New Zealand side, and we have special markings of grave of Indian soldiers who also perished in the campaign here. They didn't die in the direct conflict which ensued in Gallipoli, but they died subsequently out of the wounds which they got from the campaign. And if you see, these 3 graves are dedicated to those Indian soldiers. These are the Muslim soldiers of the Indian army at that point of time. The Hindu soldiers who perished in the Gallipoli campaign will not be having a cemetery, because in the Hindus the bodies are cremated, but the Muslims will have their graves. And if you see, these graves are in the opposite direction, in a different direction than the other graves, because in the Muslims the graves are generally created toward the side of the Mecca.
Men in hand-to-hand combat, trying to bash each other to death.
So we are on the highest point on the Gallipoli battlefield tour. This particular point is famous because it houses the New Zealand cemetery of all the soldiers who died fighting the Turkish armies on this particular point. So as you can see, the beaches below, the soldiers of the New Zealand and the Australian armies had captured most of the coastlines here, and they were advancing towards these high points to gain foothold over here. The New Zealand are supplemented with a lot of Indian soldiers as well. So Indian soldiers and the New Zealand soldiers, they get together as a team and they start advancing from the coastline below to the heights up, and soon they begin capturing the lands over here. So if you can see, there are some trenches which have been recreated for the purpose of telling you how the war could have been like. So with the help of Indian soldiers, these soldiers from New Zealand were able to capture significant ground on this particular hill. But later on, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who is the hero of the modern Turkey, he orders his soldiers from the other side, on the place which is beyond the horizon. He orders his cavalry to mount a counter-attack on this advance of Indian and New Zealand soldiers, and with numbers on his side, he is able to overrun the position. But then what happens is, the Indian soldiers, they mount another counter assault and they recapture these particular trenches. But the problem is that the Indian soldiers have, along with the New Zealand soldiers, are far away from their logistic supplies. And what happens is that the Turks, who are now in a better position, they just overrun and they just push them back to the coastlines. This particular place has become like a tourist spot because it houses the cemetery for the soldiers of the New Zealand. I'm surprised why there is not a cemetery entirely dedicated to the Indian soldiers, but I am sure in due time, with the efforts of the government between Turkey and India, we can have cemeteries for Indian soldiers as well. Yeah, because Indian soldiers were active participants in the campaign, in the Gallipoli campaign.